Hello, my name is Chad.
And my name is Will, and we'd like to welcome you to our podcast, The Notorious 14. If you guys are interested in the supernatural and unsolved crimes, please follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Notorious 14.
Now, we'd like to talk to you about our first topic we'll be discussing on our podcast, the Dover Demon, witnessed by 5 different individuals in a span of 24 hours in the town of Dover, Massachusetts.
The lead investigators, Lauren Coleman and Walter Webb, were the first to investigate the sightings of the 5 different witnesses, the first of which is William Bartlett.
Around 10:30 on April 21st, William Bartlett and his 2 friends were on their way home from a party. Bill's 2 friends, Andy Brody and Mike Mazzoka, were busy talking to each other as he was driving home. As he was driving on Farm Street around the curve, quickly approaching Smith Street, Bill noticed something standing near a wall on the side of the road. While the car neared the creature leaned against the wall. As it turned its head toward the car, and Bill could see the eyes of the being glow orange in the beams from the headlight.
While he had only a few seconds to observe the creature, Bill described the being as having a large head about the size of a watermelon, with 2 large, round, lidless eyes. The body was small and hairless, with thin arms and legs, with large hands and feet. In a later account, Bartlett said that the body reminded him of a baby's body with long arms and legs. The witness could see that the figure appeared to place its almost white hands against the stones of the wall, as if it was unsure of the path it was going to take. The following is an account from Bill Bartlett describing what happened immediately after he saw the creature.
I really flew after I saw it. I took that corner at 45, which is pretty fast. I said to my friends, "Did you see that?" And they said, "Nah, describe it." I did, and they said, go back. And I said, no way. When you see something like that, you don't want to stand around and see what it's going to do. They finally got me to go back, and Mike was leaning out the window yelling, "Come out, creature." And I was saying, "Will you cut that out?" Andy was yelling, "I want to see you." I was trying to get them to shut the windows.
Although Bill Bartlett and his friends admitted to smoking marijuana on the night of the encounter, being high does not account for the other 2 eyewitness accounts, let alone the fact that marijuana barely causes hallucinations. His 2 friends in the car noted that Bill looked shaken by what he had saw, and his parents later recounted the same details. He must have seen something. Of all the people that investigators asked about Bill Bartlett and his character, only 1 teacher had a negative review of the teen.
If I had to pick someone to pull something like this, it would be Bartlett.
The teacher insisted on remaining anonymous. The comment seemed to be more of a personal grudge on Bill rather than based off of reality.
Only 2 hours after William Bartlett's sighting, John Baxter was walking home from his girlfriend's house on Miller's Hill Road. While he was about a mile away from the end of the road, he noticed a figure walking toward him on the opposite side of the street. The figure was very small, and as they approached each other, John thought it could have been one of his friends from school.
"Hey, MG, is that you?"
He cried out. No response. Suddenly, the creature scurried away from the approaching John Baxter. He could hear the footfalls on the dry leaves as the creature ran through the wooded gully. John followed the creature and stopped on the other side of the gully. The being was standing on some rocks near a tree. John could make out its long fingers and toes seemingly wrapped around the tree and rocks. The figure 8-shaped head directly staring at him. After what seemed several minutes of observation, John Baxter began to have an uneasy feeling about the entity and quickly withdrew from his position. He quickly walked the rest of the distance to Farm Street, where a couple picked him up and took him home.
It is April 22nd, nearly midnight. Will Tainter was driving his girlfriend, Abby Brabham, home to nearby Sherburne. While they were driving down Springdale Avenue, Abby and Will saw a creature in the road. Abby described the creature as having tan skin with a very large, oblong head. The eyes were round and glowing bright green in the headlights. She noted that there were no other discernible facial features on the creature. Will admitted to seeing only a fleeting glimpse of the creature, but he described the oblong head, small stature, and tan skin while questioned separately from Abby. Being close friends with Bill Bartlett, Will Tainter did know about the previous sighting, although he did not tell Abby anything about it. Shortly after Abby told Will of what she saw, he began asking her questions about the creature, even asking leading questions with false info, but her eyewitness account matched with Bartlett's. Later, when the investigators separated Abby and Will, Abby stood by her story, even refusing to change the detail on the color of the eyes, despite its discrepancy with the Bartlett sighting. As Will was questioned, he did not try to fill in any gaps of the creature that he could not describe. By all accounts, they were trustworthy.
Due to the fact that the Dover Demon has been unsolved for nearly 50 years, there has been no shortage on what the being could possibly be. The most popular one, that the Dover Demon could have been a moose yearling, was popularized by Martin S. Kottmeyer in an article article in The Anomalous entitled Demon Moose. Kottmeyer explains.
Bartlett's placing of the eyes matches the placement of eyes just above the hip of the muzzle on the moose's head. The lack of a discernible nose and mouth is easily laid to the fact that the nostrils and mouth are very far down on the muzzle. A drawing of a young moose presents the ears swept back along with line of head and would not discernibly stick out, thus accounting for the absence of visible ears.
However, Lauren Coleman, the lead investigator of the Dover Demon, disagrees with Kottmeyer's conclusion. The points that moose were rare in Massachusetts during the time of the sightings, that the Dover Demon was described as a single-lead nocturnal creature, and the creature was quoted as being bipedal, may lead to the credence that the Dover Demon may not be a moose.
Another possible theory brought on by investigators was that the creature could have been an escaped horse or an escaped exotic pet. In fact, two of the witnesses, Bill Bartlett and Abby Brabham, described it as being monkey-like. However, there were no reports of missing horse or exotic pets around the time of the sightings. One last note, if you were to open Google Maps and pin each of the 3 sightings to its exact location, the 3 dots would line up in a straight line. This straight path could have easily been traveled by any type of animal. So, what was the creature that Bill Bartlett, John Baxter, and Abby Brabham saw? Here are our thoughts. So we have 4 eyewitnesses in the period of 24 hours. The lead investigators, Lauren Coleman and Walter Webb, seemingly thought it was a hoax because of the discrepancy in eye colors between Bill Bartlett and Abby Brabham. However, I believe personally that kind of makes their story more legible, because if you were looking at a creature right in front of you for a matter of 10 seconds, 15 seconds, not only are you not going to have probably the best recollection and memory of what you saw, but it's also possible that they saw it from different angles and the light refracting off of its eyes could have reflected a different color. That happens fairly often when light is reflected off of something.
It's not that Lauren Coleman necessarily thought it was a hoax, but it was more like he was kind of thinking it could have been because of the fact that 5 out of the 6 people that were involved in the sightings knew each other previously.
Yeah, I feel like when they're not necessarily best friends in school, but when you're in school of friends, at that age, you kind of can get into some mischief or have some fun. It's fairly easy, I feel like, that they could have talked about and speculated on the story of creating a creature and having unexplainably seen it all within a 24-hour period.
Yeah, it's kind of also to the fact that it was on their spring break, too.
Yeah, I mean, they were smoking the reefer. I feel like, it's possible that they came into contact with other drugs and maybe they were hallucinating a little bit, but they would all have to have been hallucinating within a 24-hour period the same thing, and I feel like that's probably not the case that happened with these kids.
Yeah, it almost seems like 3 hallucinations over a 1-day period is almost more improbable than actually seeing a creature they described.
Very much so. One thing that helps the legibility of the story was that Will Tainter was talking to Abby Brabham about the creature using the false leads so that he could try and work out and see if she had actually seen it or not, based off of her answers to the false questions, basically. She wouldn't budge on what she thought she saw. She gave a very similar description of the creature and would not budge off of her description of it, including the fact that it had green eyes.
Yeah, another fact about Abby Brabham is that throughout the years following the initial sighting, she didn't budge around her story. She pretty held tight on what she saw and didn't change any of the descriptions to kind of fictionalize the creature itself.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I feel like it's kind of like keeping a lie and never telling anybody about it. If it was a lie, it's kind of hard to stick with the details. Mm-hmm. But it seems like that they had legitimately seen something that night, whether it be an animal or some other kind of creature. That would bring us to one of the other theories that it could have possibly been an alien.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it was, but I'm sure there are many skeptics out there that the very first thing that they would want to go to is alien.
Yeah.
Because they can't explain it. It's basically like an alien's a scapegoat.
Pretty much.
For everything unexplainable in these day and ages.
We don't know what it is. It's obviously an alien.
Very much so.
Sasquatch. An alien.
Yeah.
Loch Ness Monster.
Alien.
Pyramids. Alien.
Aliens. Yeah, I mean, I think that one, we could probably count that one out.
Yeah.
Though it was only seen for a matter of 24 hours, which lends a little bit of credibility to the alien theory, but it would have had to have gotten, like, escaped or been, like, picked up by a flying saucer.
If it was an alien, you'd expect to see reports of a UFO in the area, and I don't think there was any around that time.
No, I don't think so either.
And another crazy theory about what the Dover Demon could be is a mermaid.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Just an absolutely no. People are like, hey, it could be a mermaid with legs, but I feel like that's almost just a person.
Pretty much.
With
just
gills?
a person with gills, yeah. Maybe a few scales here and there. I feel like it wouldn't be able to survive on land for the 24-hour period. And the Charles River is pretty close, but it would have to be able to, like, jump back in so it could breathe, I feel like. So can a mermaid breathe on land?
That's a very good question.
I feel like it would have to at least, like, go back and jump in the river once in a while. I'm pretty sure the mermaid theory is out of question as far as I'm concerned.
For sure. Unless if it's like an amphibian. Mermaid creature.
It'll, like, breathe through its skin. Okay. So it's like a frog person.
Sounds credible.
That sounds pretty cool to me. One of the other theories that is pretty popular among the community regarding the Dover Demon is that it was a escaped primate from a private collector / owner, or maybe an exotic pet store. It's very popular because the Dover Demon is a humanoid creature. It did, however, appear to have, like, tan skin. It would have to have lost some of its fur, I'd imagine, but, like,
for sure.
It's just a theory. I don't think that it probably was a monkey. It more along the line fits, like, probably a moose, maybe, or a horse.
Yeah, it's kind of like for the moose part, it's like, it's almost very impossible for it to be a moose. Just because moose tend to be diurnal creatures.
Yeah.
Versus the Dover Demon being described as nocturnal. Mm-hmm. And that there was not a lot of moose in Massachusetts at the time.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's still a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been that, like an owl or something, looking with its big eyes. Like, obviously, they saw, like, a humanoid creature. But, so that kind of, like, takes away from the owl theory as well, but...
I mean, this has happened, like, almost 50 years ago, so there's tons of different theories of what it could be.
Yeah, especially since it's been unsolved. They need to figure out something to fill in the blank.
Yeah. One of the most probable theories, for me at least, would be that the Dover Demon possibly could be an exotic pet of some sorts, possibly a primate, due to the fact that two witnesses described it as monkey-like, and that the description itself of the Dover Demon matches that of a primate. Those two witnesses also said that a tail could be hiding behind the creature.
Yeah, I feel like if you're looking at something from a pretty good distance at nighttime, low visibility, the last thing you're going to be able to pick up on an animal is the small features and details, I feel like. Especially if that thing's trying to book it and get out of there. Obviously, in a few of the accounts, it's staring directly at them. It's not necessarily trying to escape.
Yeah.
But if you get that thing staring into your soul, you're going to probably not be...
You're not going to want to be sticking around there for long.
No, I mean, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, what did I see? And I feel like you probably won't remember much. I'm kind of surprised that they were able to make a drawing of it, that all of them were pretty similar.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure the police chief said that Bartlett was a very credible eyewitness and that his drawing was, like, magnificent for the conditions.
Yeah, which in itself lends to the hoax theory, but I don't think it's a hoax. Overall, with all the evidence, like, I feel that they definitely saw something regardless of what it could have been.
Yeah, there's too many, like, facts that kind of prove that it was an actual creature rather than a hoax, or even, like, an alien or mermaid for some reason, or hallucinations for that point too.
I think that all in all, it's pretty safe to say that they saw some kind of animal and misinterpreted it as the Dover Demon. That's
sure.
That's the theory I'm going to stick with.
We may never know what they saw on that day.
We probably won't.
Probably never.
We need to go investigate.
There's just so many open questions that we can't get answers for.
Yeah, especially at this point in time.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll always remain the Dover Demon.
Although we may never know what the Dover Demon may be, we do know that you want to subscribe to YouTube and Spotify for the Notorious Fortean.
Yes, you do.
And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get updates to our new podcasts coming out hopefully every week or every 2 weeks. The next one will be about D.B. Cooper.
Yes, if you guys want to follow and keep track of us as we continue to make our podcast about the unsolved crimes, mysteries, cryptids, paranormal activity, we encourage you to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And we thank you very much for your support. Bye-bye.
Bye.